What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to another Warframe video. So, with Jade Shadows a little bit over 1 week from today, I've been making some preparations for builds and loadouts behind the scenes, and I'm going to be showing you some of that prep today. We've got some new Rivens that are meant for the Jade Shadows update. Some of these actually were kind of expensive plat-wise, so definitely going to let you take a look at what I've been working on here in the behind the scenes. Before we get into it though, make sure you sub this channel. We do daily Warframe video uploads. We'll have plenty of coverage on the Jade Shadows update when that comes out on the 18th. But for right now, I'm just going to show you things that I'm working on that will be hopefully really nice in the Jade Shadows update. So let's get right into it. Okay, so first weapon we got today that I've been messing around with for the purposes of the new Jade Shadows update is going to be the phenmor Incarnon. So the phenmor Incarnon here is going to be a semi-auto rifle in the primary form, and then the full auto form is like an arc-wing gun, basically. This thing wants a negative critical chance Riven to get access to its 2,000% damage Incarnon more often. And if you look at the build we have right here, I am definitely messing around with some experimental stuff. So we got a blast corrosive build here, and if you remember, in the Jade Shadows update, when you deal a blast status, the damage dealt will trigger a smaller secondary detonation following a delay. If you eliminate an enemy or reach X blast stacks, they'll detonate, dealing a percentage of the summed up damage on an AoE range. So that means that if I'm dealing big numbers with these blast procs, they will explode out in like a delayed DOT. So I've got a corrosive blast build right now, and my Riven that I've gotten for the phenmor is going to be double elemental with minus critical chance. With this, I've got a 0.04% or 0.4% critical chance, so I'm not really getting crits ever unless it's like a puncture proc giving more extra crit chance. But yeah, so this is one of the things I've been messing with. Now, why am I messing with the phenmor, even though the phenmor's been out for like 2 years? Well, it's because the primary form, this form right here, this is currently semi-auto. After the patch, it will become full auto. So I will have a full auto Incarnon rifle with 2,000% increased damage at almost all times. So that being said, I could definitely mess with the build a little bit more. It's not exactly a God Roll Riven, but what I'm looking for is just a strong rifle that can, be kind of used with the Latron. I've got the Latron, but I didn't get a new Riven for that. So goes to Incarnon form quite easily. Not really doing that much armor strip here. Now, we do have 1 green Tau Shard on Garuda. These enemies have 13 corrosive procs. When I show another Riven we're using later, you'll definitely start to understand that maybe 1 green Tau Shard will be the meta for these high-level missions. So, corrosive blast build, shredding those guys, no problem. Now, of course, we could take off like 1 mod and make it like a viral electric build or whatever. But yeah, the main reason I've gotten a phenmor Riven is because it will become full auto, and it's a pretty good rifle, honestly. So I don't mind a full auto phenmor in my life. And now corrosive blast might not be the best on here, but I'm still gonna give it a shot on day 1. All right, so that's gonna be the phenmor Riven. Let's move on to one more. This one's definitely more on the creative side, okay? Now, as far as the other Riven we're gonna go over, I'm gonna be going over my new TORID Riven with you. And this one's going to be a lot more to explain, so buckle up. So we just talked about blast procs being pretty good, or hopefully pretty good in the new update. I've taken it one step further. This is going to be multi-theory crafting here. So this is a corrosive heat build on the TORID. Now I have a corrosive cold build right here, which will work very, very well. But the fun part about this is that I've gotten a new Riven for the TORID that has heat on it. It also has double crit, so we're fine there. But why do I want a heat Riven on the TORID, or at least why do I want to try heat TORID Riven? Well, because if you have the green Tau Shard we were just talking about, 13 corrosive procs from 1 Tau Shard will be 98% armor removal. Then you throw a heat proc on top of that, it removes 50% of their current remaining armor. So, since enemies' armor will be capped at 2,700, they'll have like 54 armor after all that armor removal from corrosive procs. You throw on a heat proc too, they're going to have like 20 armor. So they're going to have basically no DR at all. And not to mention, that heat Riven will help me fit on a corrosive blast build if corrosive blast ends up being the meta element for that. So we've got multiple reasons this heat Riven is actually going to be good. And even on the current patch right now, corrosive heat TORID can shred some enemies. Not exactly the biggest numbers, but we don't have any viral on them either, just a reminder. So here's the nice thing too. Let's say blast isn't as good as we're hoping it is. I don't have to I can just keep on corrosive heats. But if I want to make a corrosive blast, you throw on prime cryo rounds. Now our blast rating is a little bit higher, to be fair, but it shouldn't be that big of a deal. With this much status chance, we've got 114% status chance on the primary shot, 162 on the Incarnon shot with the hybrid Incarnon. So now we got a corrosive blast build. So on the new patch, these enemies should be exploding and like doing like delayed damage explosions and like staggers and all that good stuff. So 6 corrosive procs from one hit. Now remember, if you get to like 10 blast procs before they die, it will explode them early. So that could be pretty good going forward. So yeah, the blast procs do literally nothing right now. But as you can see, the enemies die pretty quickly, even with the blast procs not being very good right now. So will this be good? I mean, to be honest, I think the Tenant Glaxian is probably going to still be more of my kind of weapon, but when you need the red crit, like bring out the big firepower, this can work definitely pretty well. Why would I want to heat Riven on here? Well, if you're going to be running a Riven, you want to save as many mod spots as possible and also buff the damage as much as possible. So me having double crit and heat on here, and technically minus Corpus, that's not going to really matter, should be fine for most missions. Now, if I was to run a heat mod on here, I'd just probably put the heat mod over where the Riven is, and it'd be, pretty similar, have more status chance, but a lot less crit. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking, is that I want to make a corrosive blast or corrosive heat Torrid, and the heat proc's going to remove that small little bit. It's only going to end up removing like, what, 25, 26 armor in the end. But the heat procs stack on a DOT as well, so they're not just about the armor removal. So that could be pretty disgusting. I think corrosive cold might end up being better, which wouldn't really... this Riven would not work with corrosive cold, unfortunately. That's why I still got my old Torrid Riven, too. But yeah, this Torrid Riven, I think, is going to be worth it in the long run. Now, there is no, like, Cascadia Flare for primaries, so I've ended up going with Merciless. If you were on the corrosive cold build, you could go for primary Frostbite. But here's another experimental one right here. We got Blast Toxin. And actually, technically, HM. This build's meant to be against almost any faction. So we've got Slash Procs to take care of Grenier. We've got Toxin to take care of Corpus. We got Blast to see how that works on with the new status changes. And this one will be a all-rounder kind of build. And we can actually run Primary Blight as we do have Toxin on here. Now let's just go ahead and see how it works on these heavy gunners. I'm not expecting it to be that great. But remember, this is supposed to be a every kind of faction type of build. And since the Torrid has built-in Toxin, you can't really do Blast Electric as easily. So the 100 missions will be doing most of the work on these guys. Okay. It's definitely not a build meant for these guys, but the DOT is quite strong. And we also have Primary Blight fully stacked up. Blast Toxin is a combination that I am definitely going to be looking out for, but I do think that Blast Electric might just be better. The main reason you'd run Toxin is to bypass Corpus shields, and I have a negative Corpus Riven, so that's not going to be as enticing. But let's just go ahead and see how these Corpus get shredded by this, if they do at all. But yeah, so the main two weapons I want to show you guys today are the phenmor and the Torrid. Okay, so the Blast Toxin build definitely slays them out really fast anyway. So no big deal there. But yeah, I've got a couple other ones I've been messing with too. Not going to really showcase them as much because we actually need those changes. But I've gotten a Paragale Riven for purposes of using full auto Paragale. So Paragale is going to be a hard-hitting sniper that actually gets infinite ammo when you get like a headshot kill, I think it is. So once these changes come through, you have a full auto Paragale. And as far as the Riven, I haven't really gotten a great one, but we have got multi-shot, crit chance, slash, plus recoil. Big thing here, after letting a headshot kill or 4 headshots in one burst, gain 100% ammo efficiency for 4 seconds. So as long as you keep getting headshot kills, you should have infinite ammo. So I've gotten that for purposes of testing that out. I've gotten a second Glaxian. That's not really a Riven, but I've told you guys about that on stream. The Impact Glaxian from the old video has become a Heat Glaxian to fit on Corrosive Blast easier to save 1 mod slot. So that's going to be one that's going to be messed with in the future. But yeah, so yeah, we got a couple things that I'm preparing here, guys. Let me know if you... Okay, I think that's basically all the stuff I want to show you on this one. Let me know if you have any things you're prepping weapon-wise or Riven-wise for the new update. I think the Torrid one was... I mean, this is over 1,000 plat Riven, to be honest. So I think it will be hopefully worth the investment. But if not, it's still a good Riven at the end of the day. Corrosive Heat, Corrosive Cold. We'll have a Corrosive Heat versus Corrosive Cold video when the update comes out. I think Corrosive Cold might come out ahead because it's going to get that increased crit damage. But, I mean, we already have so much crit damage already. I mean, like 13.6 multiplier. that should be pretty good. So getting that last little bit of armor removal, because this thing does pump out the procs pretty quickly, as well as the DOT, that might end up being stronger, as not to mention the corrosive blast potential with this thing could be pretty nasty with how much damage we're pumping out. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Hope you found this video fun and helpful. I'll be on stream later tonight, grinding out some relics for borrow, maybe doing some more prep like this with corrosive blast builds and corrosive heat builds. So see you guys next time. For your support and take it easy. Peace.